Hello, you mentioned that you might be interested to continue your education and take additional classes. By the time you finish, you get your associate degree this summer, you have completed 20 credit hours. 20 courses. 20 courses is around 61 credit hours. Do you see here this purple says 61? That's what you have taken. Then you can take 33 more credit hours at Eastern, which, as you know, the classes at Eastern are less expensive than other places. And then by taking these 33 credit hours plus 61, that is 94 credit hours. That's what many business students do. After they take these classes, they go to Franklin and they take these red classes. If you look at these red classes, there are only 8 of them, which means you can finish them in 1 year. Therefore, your goal would be, if I were you, I would have come back to Eastern and I would have taken 31 credit hours. Let's see what they are. This side we have Eastern class courses, and this side we have Franklin courses. Do you see they are equivalent? When you take accounting, Tokyo Accounting 120, that course is equivalent to this course of Franklin University. You took accounting 2, and that is equivalent to this accounting of Franklin. You took the computer class here, that is equivalent to these classes in Franklin. You are taking English 1, that is English 1. However, you haven't taken English 2, that's why I put it in blue color. The colors that are not green are the ones you have not taken. The green ones are the ones that you have taken. Let's see what are the things that you didn't take. You didn't take English. If you take it, let's say this fall, that takes another class out of, that is equivalent to another class of Franklin. You didn't take statistics. You can take it in fall. You see, I even wrote fall here for you. Then that is equivalent to this statistics. Then Franklin has these extra classes, but you have taken some of them. Let me tell you what you took and what you didn't take. Here, Franklin says you can take any kind of college elective. Here can be any elective. Do you see? You took banking, and that is equivalent to this course. You took personal finance, that is equivalent to elective. Again, you took tourism planning, that is equivalent to this one. Therefore, anything you took at Eastern will count. At Franklin, there are certain courses that you can take them and to bring yourself to the maximum 93 credit hours here, and then you can transfer. As I said, you can take how many classes you have to take at Eastern. You have to take 11 classes. You have taken so far around 20, 21. That means that for 2 years you have come to Eastern. One more year, if you come to Eastern, you will bring your credit hours to maximum. Now, if you ask me, if you want to come back in fall, what classes you would take? I would say English 2, I put it in blue, statistics, humanities, something like art, and then business finance. These are 4 classes you can take in fall, assuming you want to come full time. If you come to full time, in 1 year, you have completed everything at Eastern and you got 94 credit hours. Now, if you say, oh, you are tired, you would rather not to take 4 classes, that's fine. You can take half of it, you can take these 2, and then you can take these 2 in fall of next year rather than this fall. Do you see that? Assuming you did very well to take 4 classes every semester and you got everything out. If you can continue that momentum, 1 year from now, this summer of next year, you have completed your 93 credit hours, and then in fall of next year, you start taking these 8 classes and get your bachelor's degree. Now, let's say we know what you are going to take in fall in case if you decide to take 4 in fall. Now, in spring of next year, I put the spring here, managerial accounting. You took one science, you will take another one. We will put you in another humanities. Humanities means music, art, religion, and then we will be taking speech, for example, next spring. Then when it comes to summer of next year, you take 3 courses, elective courses in summer, Those are equivalent to these three, and then you transfer to Franklin University. Your question would be, okay, where do I get the money to pay for this? I know that, you pay some of it out of your pocket. If I were you, I wouldn't even have worried about paying it from my pocket. If there is not any fund, go and borrow money. This is my advice to many, many students, business students. I don't give this advice to economics students or psychology students or sociology students, because business students, when they get their degree, they are going to be promoted, they are going to get higher salary, and paying off the loan, it won't be significant. Most likely, if you borrow everything for this, this must maybe cost you here $11,000, and this might cost you, as many as $8,000. You add 8 and 10, it would be 18. Nothing to be worried. If your salary is going to go up by 30%, let's say if you make 40,000, if you have a bachelor's degree and you make 60,000, that's additional $20,000 a year. I will send you a video to learn about what the impact of, if they say that even some students, when they go to Franklin, they quickly work on a master's degree, and they get, they take as many as 12, 13 more credits. I have many business students did that. They get a master's degree, and people with masters, they get $80,000, $90,000. Therefore, that is just one of my students completed this program quickly, and went to WVU and got her master's in business from WVU rather than getting it from Franklin. Franklin is good also. Quickly, in 1 year, 1.5 years, he got it, a master's, degree in business from WVU. There is a lot of value to that. There is a significant demand for it. Therefore, I am going to send this one myself. I went to three private schools, and I borrowed significantly, and and huge amount, and because they are big expensive schools, I borrowed. But what happened was that it was all my loans were forgiven, because I am working for nonprofits, and anyone works for nonprofits for 10 years and pays every month, a little for his, or her financial aid for her loan. And the government forgives that, all the loans. Therefore, don't worry about borrowing up to 18, 20, $30,000. It will pay off. What's wrong if you get your great job, good job, and and then I will send you. And if I send an email to encourage to a student, to encourage her to continue get a master's degree, I sent her a video from Warren Buffett. I'm going to send that one for you as well, and I am going to send you this screen. That way you have the idea of what if in case if you want to come back in fall. As I said, one a good idea is to take 4 courses while you can, because you have been doing great in the past. Because that's quickly, the sooner you finish the program, the sooner you are going to get that high salary. Every year you postpone it, you miss $20,000, $30,000 of extra, income. Therefore, if you can manage to take 4 classes in 1 year, knock them down, and go to Franklin in 1 year, get this one, and even go another 1.5 years, get your master's, and then get $80,000, $90,000 a year, hopefully. Now, I'm going to send this one, and if you have any questions, you let me know. If you decide to continue, let me know. We will, put you into a new program, and that way you will be able to, apply for loan, and I know that you won't be able to receive any West Virginia Invest grant, because that is for the students who don't have associate degree. But the student loans are there, and as I highly recommend not to spend your own money, because at some point you will feel, because you have to work hard, to save hard, to pay for it. Get the loan, and then after you graduate, get a better job. You already have a job experience. That's great. That means you won't have my guess is that you will be able to secure high paying jobs, and then get a master's and get $90,000. One of my graduates, I think, was making 200. He went and got his master's from, I think, Franklin University, and he was making $240,000 up to a year or 2 years ago, until I think he did something crazy and he lost his job. But that's a lot of money, anyhow, if you decide to go for it, or if you want to take a break and come back later on, I will be retiring in 2 3 months, in 2 months, at the end of July. Therefore, I am trying to settle the business students. You will have a good advisor. We will, if you decide to take, I can register you. I'm here until July 31st. Therefore, my recommendation is to continue. You have been doing great in your classes, in summer class, everything. We will talk